The home of the common Joe and the common Sally in the know, even more so than all those media talking heads.
Really? You know, the USC Skittle Shitter fans have been in my DMs and my PMs for the longest telling me, you need to quit making videos about USC because that's the only way you're getting views and blah, blah, blah. When we all know that's a lie, because all you got to do is look at my numbers and stuff. You just go back and look at some of my videos. But they want me to stop talking about them, but they want free reign. Them and their little butt buddy, Colin Cowherd, they want free reign to just be able to put their mouth on Oklahoma and any other team that they see fit to deflect from the fact that they were probably the worst 11-3 team of all time, in my opinion. No doubt. And that's not me trolling. That's me just telling you the facts, USC. And here comes Colin Cowherd once again, talking about Oklahoma going into oblivion. And, you know, for a team that's supposed to be irrelevant to y'all just keep talking about them. Their comeback is, well, y'all went 6-7 last year. We're not concerned about y'all. But yet y'all keep talking about them. So obviously you are. You just can't come to grips with the fact that you got out-recruited 2 years in a row by Brent Venables and his staff, who were handicapped from the get-go by the tampering that went on by Lincoln Riley Wine was Oklahoma. You can call it, well, they just went in the transfer portal if you want to, but we all know what happened, and y'all know what's coming. Y'all know it in deep back seeds in the back of your mind. Colin Cowherd knows that this story, the real story of Lincoln Riley, is about to be told. I don't think he's going to like the conclusion. Let's talk about it. Here we go again. Here they come riding on in. Once again, it's the Outlaw Posse now in effect. And the Outlaw Posse membership is now up to a blistering 17. So we head for that top 20. And the newest member is Daryl Madden, coming in, getting his badge and getting deputized. He's officially part of the Outlaw Posse. And if you want to be a part of the Outlaw Posse, all you got to do is hit that join button next to the subscribe button. And that ain't but $2.99 a month, 75 cents a week. And I've also been informed that if you're on an Apple phone, that you can't really do YouTube paid memberships from your Apple phone. So you'll have to go to your laptop or your computer in order to join any paid memberships on YouTube. Now, this is the Outlaw of College Football. I can also be found on Twitter at OCF Productions. Now, getting right to it here. Like I said in the lead up, man, I just don't understand it. I just don't get it. Y'all want me to stop talking about USC, and y'all want me to move on from what Lincoln Riley did and his little shady dealings. Now he tampered with Oklahoma's roster while he was still at Oklahoma. But you and your little mouthpiece, your little bed buddy, your butt buddy out there, Colin Cowherd. Now I'm not sure where he lives at. He might live in LA or somewhere like that, but I'm not sure where he lives. But I know he's out there on the left coast. And it's just painfully obvious. I'm embarrassed for you, Colin. It's painfully obvious that for some reason, you have something in the back of your mind that's telling you the facade's about to be up. You see, he wasn't at Oklahoma quite long enough for it to be exposed because, you know, Bob Stoops left that program in pretty decent shape for him, and Bob Stoops didn't raid the Oklahoma roster on his way out. You see, Brent Venables had to deal with that. They didn't have to deal with their predecessor raiding their roster, tampering with it. That's right, tampered. I'm going to keep saying it because that's what happened. But let's get to what Colin Cowherd had to say. Colin Cowherd basically said, number one, that Oklahoma is going to slip into oblivion just like the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Nebraska was his comparison point that he tried to use. That Nebraska joined the wrong conference, first of all, and they lost their Texas pipeline, which that I can agree with. But here's the thing. And he went on to say that Nebraska doesn't have any in-state talent, and they lost their Texas pipelines, I just said, and that Oklahoma doesn't have any in-state talent, and they're going to lose their pipeline. But what he don't realize is Nebraska left the Big 12 and went to the Big 10 without any other member going with them, and the states they went to didn't have any connection to them whatsoever in the beginning either. Whereas with Oklahoma, they've always recruited Texas. They've never recruited Oklahoma that much. We all know Oklahoma's a smaller state, but it's a border state of Texas, which Nebraska isn't. And they went to the SEC with their most fertile recruiting ground, Texas. They went with the Texas Longhorns, and there's already a Texas team over there in Texas A&M. There's already two big brands of Texas football over in the SEC with Oklahoma. Nebraska didn't have that luxury. They went by themselves. So that theory was shot to hell too. Then in the middle of all of it, you could tell that this was something a little more deep-seated. As we all know what's going on here. And he knows it too, but he just don't want to admit it. But he went out his way to say that for some random reason, he had to make this point, that a Southern guy saying that USC football is dead is like a Western guy saying that Alabama football is dead. Are you seriously trying to compare USC football right now to Alabama's football? Because you're making yourself look rather stupid, man, because USC haven't won a national championship in over 20 years, man. So for you to say that, it's a little irresponsible, and it's just not. It's not very applicable, Colin. It's pretty reaching on your part. But getting back to what Colin said, he also said that. Oh, by the way, the recruiting that he was talking about, Nebraska hasn't really recruited in the top 25 that often since Tom Osborne. So that's another thing. Oklahoma's recruiting in the top 10 and now the top 5 with a coach that's never been a head coach before, and yet USC keeps getting out recruited by Oklahoma. And he said that you couldn't recruit to Oklahoma. So that's another lie that you done told. That's not a fact. You try to make it a fact, he'll come out in his little nasally voice, and this is the reason why, and this is why this is a fact. When it's not a fact at all, Colin, it's just your opinion, man. Just like ours. You know better than us. I know you think you are, but you're not. It's just your opinion, man. There's no facts in what you're saying at all. It's all opinionated, brother. Then he says Oklahoma's other problem is they didn't get the right coach, just like Nebraska went through all these coaches. That might be true to some degree in regards to Nebraska, but you really ain't got much to compare this to. If you're saying they didn't get the right coach for 20 years, then guess what you're doing, man? You're slinging mud at Lincoln Riley because he was a head coach at Oklahoma, jackass. They had Bob Stoops. They had Lincoln Riley. How have they gotten it wrong like Nebraska? It don't compare. You're only comparing one coaching hire to a bunch of coaching hires. Once again, you're reaching. Once again, you look stupid. You look like a blatant liar because that's what you are, man. You're just a straight up coward, man. You can't concentrate on the team that you like because you're worried about what the other team's doing that everybody's criticizing you about. So everybody knows that that shit was shady, and you just want to try to take that stain off, and it's not going to come off, brother. And you know, and I know that you're never going to have a good defense out there. And he tries to make the reference that they hired a defensive-minded coach, and that's why they're going to suck. A lot of teams that go out and just hire offensive-minded coaches, they might win 9 or 10 games a year, but they never win the big prize because in the end, in the big games, you've got to have a modicum of a defense. I'm not saying you got to shut people down and hold them to 10 points a game, but you got to be able to hold people down to maybe 24 points in order to win a national championship. And see, Oklahoma hired Lincoln Riley, who, when he was at Oklahoma, he had no defense there. And he never could win a national championship. Never could win a playoff game. So what makes you think he's going to do it out there? And to take a shot at someone just because they're a defensive-minded coach? Let's think about this. Who's the two biggest names in coaching right now that's won the most national championships here in the last 4 or 5 years? Nick Saban and Kirby Smart. And guess what they are? Guess where their backgrounds lie, jackass? Defensive coordinators. And they're winning all the national championships because they know how to blend the two. They know how to have a whole team and not win 9 or 10 games a year with some kind of ass clown circus camp. And then the funniest thing out of the whole skit to me was the fact that he accidentally probably admitted that Lincoln Riley left because Oklahoma was joining the SEC. He said during his little rant that Lincoln Riley was smart. He looked at the schedules. He looked at Oklahoma's joining the SEC. And man, look at those schedules. They're horrendous. Yes, the SEC says they're the most powerful conference. And he said it in a demeaning way, like that's a bad thing. Or y'all added a big revenue stream, but man, look at the schedules. I thought you said that y'all schedules are just as tough out there in La La Land. Well, now you're admitting it. You just admitted that he left because he was scared of the SEC. And go on to say that, that's another thing, that's another reason why that was just the wrong conference. It wasn't the wrong conference. It's the most powerful conference. Where in the future, you might be wishing your team was in that conference. Although your team's going to the Big Ten. It's going to be just as, not as tough, but it's going to be a little tougher for USC to get those 10-win seasons now at this point. But you just admitted it, that he saw it as an easier route. So he left town. And now he probably knew that they was going to go to the Big Ten eventually as well. So you're saying that he's got it a lot easier, and that's what he was looking for. That he was scared of the SEC. Well, I'm glad you finally admitted that, man, because we already all knew that, man. It's just you coming to grips with it, man. You probably need to see a therapist about this angst that you have with Oklahoma, man. Because these 2 recruiting classes, they're going to start filtering in, and then you're going to have mud on your face. But you want to try to go along with the politically correct mob and cheer on that ass clown circus camp, Mickey Mouse trickery of an offense that has no defense. And it's just not going to happen for you, brother. And bottom line is, in your little nasally, matter-of-factly, demeaning voice, you know that it's about to be exposed. USC is about to be exposed. Once Caleb Williams leaves, y'all may have your nice little 9 or 10, 11 win season again this year. But after he leaves and after y'all go to the Big Ten, you're going to be exposed. Also, before I get out of here, the new Athens football magazines are out. If y'all want to do like a live stream about that, maybe Monday or maybe even Sunday, just let me know if y'all are interested in doing that. We'll do a live stream about the new Athens football magazines. It's officially out. That's one of my college football Bibles. I also have a Lindy's in there as well, but it's just a southeastern version. They haven't come out with a national version yet. Also, I want to give some shout outs to Sheldon Lamy, That Christian Fam channel, Brandon Dunn, Eric Taco Marino, Zachary Bass, and Marty Keene for the support they've been giving the channel. They've been sending me links to articles and whatnot, helping me keep up and keep abreast of what's going on. And with that, I'm out of here. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And as always, KMCA to all the other teams. Class is now officially dismissed.